Warning, the following reaction contains graphic depictions of sexual assault and abuse. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with more Hazbin Hotel, episode 4. And yeah, last time was a pretty notable episode. We learned quite a lot. We learned a lot about what happened with the angel. We learned just a lot more about the entire Overlord system and how things seem to be going in that regard. And we're really starting to get a bigger picture for this series. We also got more with Serpentius and just how all of that is going down. And now we have to kind of move forward into whatever happens to be coming next. So I'm very excited to see more of this. And hopefully it continues to impress. Because so far it's been fantastic. Now, I do want to say something as well. So, I talked about it in the last reaction as well, but you're seeing this pretty well after I've recorded it, like a week after. So, because of the spoiler issue with just social media and everyone on it, I have kind of decided that I've got to record this as quickly as I can, which sucks badly. But I feel like I don't have a choice because spoilers are getting harder and harder to avoid, and I've been doing a good job at avoiding them. But the fact is, they're everywhere, all over every social media platform. It's getting to be really difficult to avoid them when my entire like Twitter feed is saturated with them, when I can see them pop up on YouTube occasionally, when even Facebook is talking about every little thing. It's getting to be difficult. And I said it last time, I believe, and I'm saying it again here. It's entirely the fault of this stupid binge model. It's an active, detriment to viewership. It hurts retention rates. It hurts just overall enjoyment rates, in my opinion. And it causes problems with people who do wish to watch it at a slower pace, especially those who are choosing to react to it. Because not everybody can or just wants to binge shit. That's a thing that a lot of like either binge apologists or a lot of these streaming services don't understand as well. Some people just can't do that. There are some people who like work enough to where they just can't binge all these shows. It's just not possible. And then there's people like myself who are reactors, and like binging all these shows just doesn't quite work. So the fact that I'm kind of being forced now due to all of this spoiler shit to binge through this but not put them up right away is sucky, to say the least. Because if nothing else, that's going to mean I'm going to get through this series pretty quick, but then I'm still going to have to be waiting to upload them and everything. And I'm just not going to be reacting to anything at that point. It's just a matter of getting them all up. And before anyone says anything about it, I'm not just going to put them up at like the times I record them or whatnot. Like, we moved into a schedule and we're sticking with that for now. So, I want to make sure that we, stick with the schedule, that we go with that, and not worry about, like, just rushing through everything in that regard either. Because binging it is just going to make me apathetic towards the show. And I don't want that to happen. I want to really enjoy the show as much as I can. After how long I and many others have been waiting for it, I think that's just the most preferable option here. So hopefully, everything continues to go well. And we can move on and just do what we got to do. But yeah, this is just what I'm going to have to do from now on. Um, and we'll see how it goes. The last two episodes I might do together, 7 and 8, but otherwise they're going to be like once a week still. I'm just going to have recorded them in advance. So, that being said, thank you for tuning in. And we're going to get this started. And hopefully, the enjoyment of the episode helps deal with the annoyance of how I have to record these now. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we're back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. I apologize if I seem like if I'm a bit of a mess right now. That song hit really hard, really personally. I make no secret. I make no secret about the mistakes I've made in the past. About the bad things I've said and done. And about my insecurities and a lot of times self-hatred. I not even just because I'm a trans woman, but there's a lot that I just really hate about myself. And a lot that just affects me on a lot of deep personal levels because of that. And obviously for different people that manifests in different ways. And for me, I tend to find my escape through YouTube, through animation, through video games. Which obviously is a lot healthier than, drugs and alcohol. But it's still an escape. It's still me trying to avoid the problem. Whether it be a problem of my own design or of what other people think of me and the way they treat me. And so this episode, and especially the song Loser Baby, really spoke to me. And I mean, Angel's been my favorite character since the pilot. again, something I have not been making a secret of. I have this plush. I got this plush off of the official VisiPop store on Shark Robot because of how much I love Angel. Um, so I knew that when we got an Angel centered episode, it was going to probably hit hard. Um, and I just. Ugh, I just don't think I really expected it to hit that hard. um, for context, after I stopped the recording of the reaction, I literally sat here crying for probably a good few minutes. Um, and I don't want to worry anybody. I'm not like reaching out for sympathy or anything. I want to be open and honest because I don't want to get to a place that Angel is shown to be here. I don't want to be in that kind of position, that kind of state. And that's why I've always like taken that stance about being open and honest. Why I've always been so strong about that. Because it matters to me to not hide who I am and to not hide when I'm in pain. Because I don't want to end up relying on, unhealthy coping mechanisms to deal with it. And on top of that, I have to also mention, like, during the Poison song, which, by the way, that was a song that was released early. That the entire song was released, like, I don't know, like a week ahead of the first episode's official public release, something like that. I avoided listening to that song back then when it was released because I didn't want spoilers. And I'm glad I did because that also hit very hard. Not as hard as Loser Baby, but it hit very hard. Um, and it's not like new information because we kind of got the same vibe from the Addict music video. This is just, instead of being written and made by Silverhound, this one is actually by, the official team. It's basically an official version of Addict in a way. And it's basically saying the same thing about Angel's addiction to all of this horrific shit going on, using porn and drugs and alcohol as a coping mechanism to deal with the abuse and sexual assault and fear that he feels being in this contract with Valentino. And it's notable how intense that scene also was, showing like violently sexual assault and aggressive like pain from Angel's perspective. I feel like it needed to do that to really get the point across. It's hard to watch. And it's meant to be. And that's important, I feel. But going back to the second song, Loser Baby, the message of it being that we're losers, that we suck, we've made mistakes, we've done bad things, we're in bad spots in our lives, but we're not alone. That there are others here with us and that they can help us through it in a mutually beneficial way. And that it brings comfort to know that someone else is there with you in such a shitty situation. It hit hard because it's something that I feel like I needed to hear, because like I said, I have a lot of self-hatred, and there's a lot of pain that I feel about myself, and again the things I've said and done, and just the way that I am. I, again, make it no secret that I have been suicidal. And there's a lot of reasons to why, especially back in 2013, I was attempting, not just thinking about it, actually attempting suicide. There's many reasons why, but one of them did come down to a lot of self-hatred. And it's gotten better, especially since I came out in 2017. And I'm glad that I discovered certain shows and whatnot that helped me keep going back in 2013. But that a lot of that pain is still here. A lot of that insecurity, a lot of that fear, a lot of that self-hatred. It still exists. I've just learned to manage it better. And I don't think it's ever going to fully go away. I don't. I've just got to do my best at this point to not necessarily live with it, but to accept that these kinds of emotions are part of me, and that I'm going to feel them, and it's going to feel very fucking bad. It's going to suck ass, and not in a good way. But there's so many good moments too. There's so much really good stuff that I have to look forward to. So while, yeah, there's going to be a lot of pain, that's not all that life is. And sometimes you just need reminding of that. I know I haven't I've been talking more about the themes of this episode than like the actual content itself, but I think that's what this episode is mostly about. Because the actual events are very simplistic, not too much actually happens. But we did have some notable reveals. The biggest one being that Husk was an overlord. Husk used to be an overlord. He's powerful. Probably a lot more powerful than we could even realize. I don't know if he's necessarily on the same level as other overlords that we've seen, but he does have a power to him. Also, it seems like he lost his status and position because of his gambling, which checks out. But I'm wondering exactly what happened to create that. Because now, both in the last episode and now in this one, the topic of overlords owning souls has been brought up, and obviously that's something we could have guessed at. That's not like a big surprise bit of information there. But I'm wondering if like you have to have a certain number of souls like under your like control in order to be an overlord. Like maybe once you reach a certain point, you earn that title. And so I'm wondering if maybe Husk gambled away the souls under his command. Now, we also know he made a deal with Alistair, but we don't know the specifics of that deal, nor do we know if that was even before or after he lost his status as an overlord. So there's still quite a lot of information we just don't have. Another revelation is that we found out what Angel Dust's real name is. At least his first name is Anthony. It showed it on his contract with Valentino. And that might have been revealed like in like some of the Q&As or whatever that Vivzy and the crew have put on like after the excuse me, after the pilot came out, because I know they did a lot of Q&As where they like revealed information. I know they did like various drops of information here and there too. But I never really paid a lot of attention to those, mostly because I felt like that could end up spoiling something for the future, something that might like be a relevant plot point when the show eventually did come. And so this was probably revealed beforehand. A lot of people probably already knew about this, but I'm glad that I didn't. Because it feels like more of a reveal. And I feel like I would want that rather than have it be like in a Q&A or something. So please do not spoil me on anything else from like that kind of stuff. I want to go into these episodes as spoiler free as possible. And I'm already having to dance around a lot to do that with the, again, internet going crazy for the show, which is a great thing. But avoiding spoilers is really difficult because, you know, everyone is talking about this and they're not giving a shit about like leaving time for people to actually watch the episodes. No, there's going to be a shit ton of spoilers like the instant an episode drops. And mind you, I think it's like it was like last night or this morning or whatever that the final two episodes dropped. So I think the entire season's currently out. And season 2 is already greenlit. We just don't know when that's coming, but also that tells you when I'm recording this. um yeah. So yeah, I'm just trying to avoid spoilers. So please, even if it's just something from like one of those Q&As and all, I don't want to know. I don't want to know because it could come up in the series. And I feel like I would rather experience it naturally that way. So this episode also gave us, but can't speak, Keith David singing, which is something I was very much waiting for because Keith David's a phenomenal singer. He really is. And like a lot of people mostly know his singing for Dr. Facilier from Princess and the Frog, you know, Friends on the Other Side. And that's an amazing performance, but he does sing like other than that. And we get to see a very different performance here. This is a very different kind of performance than that. Than Friends on the Other Side. Because Friends on the Other Side had a very jazzy, upbeat kind of, you know, like charlatan selling a service kind of deal to it, which obviously is the point. But because of that, he had a very slick and smooth vocal performance with that. Here, he's a lot more subdued, and for lack of a better way to put it, caring. He sounds like he's trying to genuinely comfort Angel with his performance. Also, apparently it was diegetic, which just means that apparently they were actually singing like in universe, because the mafia goons dudes like brought that up, that which is really funny. And Charlie's little part in this, I feel like I need to talk about briefly as well. Charlie understood that what she did was wrong, and I'm glad that she wasn't upset at Angel afterwards. She understood that she broke his boundaries. that she went too far, and she didn't take him yelling at her as like he was being mean or he was, hating her or anything. She understood she was the one who fucked up there. And I'm glad about that. I'm glad that she is able to notice that. Because in so many shows, she would just be angry at Angel, or just like be avoiding him because of how much he yelled at her and everything. She probably wouldn't realize what she had done was wrong. But I'm glad that the writers here are making these characters, self reflective. That they can understand when they make a mistake. And I mean, Charlie, of all characters, should be someone who can do that. And I like that. I just really like that they went there. Um, this episode didn't have as much humor as previous ones. And I feel like that's because it was touching on such serious topics. There was still some humor in it, like at the end with giving Charlie to Vaggie. It's like, I think this is yours. It's like that was funny and everything. And there's a couple moments like that, but most of the episode is actually very serious. And I'm really glad that they did that they didn't try to like push forward way too much comedy, because I feel like it would have cheapened the overall themes and ideas and message of this episode. I feel like having just a small amount to balance it out, but mostly focusing the episode on the seriousness of this kind of topic was important. And I feel like this episode could very much hit a lot of people in just the right way. And really just do wonders for them. Like it did for me. I cried and quite a bit. And you sometimes need to remember how fucking therapeutic it is to just cry. It feels really fucking good to just let it out. And that's important. Sometimes you need to just cry. And I'm glad that this episode did it for me, that it was that affecting for me. Because it allowed me to just talk about this kind of stuff. To confront this kind of stuff. In a way that I just was not expecting when I woke up today. Jeez. I really, really like this episode, if that's not clear. Definitely my favorite of the series so far. And it's not even just because of Angel. Though, again, he is still my favorite character, and that does play a part. But it's what this episode did and what it said that really won me over. And I really, really wish more shows would handle this kind of thing like this. This is probably one of the most genuinely mature handlings of this topic I've seen in any show. And I really appreciate how it was done. So, that being said, now that I'm a mess, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode? Did you break down too? Or were you able to keep that inside, unlike me? Either way is fine. Like, don't be ashamed if you did break down. That's perfectly fine. Let your emotions out. Be true to yourself. You deserve that. You deserve it. But tell me your thoughts either way. And thank you so much for tuning in. Just one last thing to note. I appreciate you all so much. This channel and all of you viewers are one of the things that helps get me through a lot of this. And I couldn't be more appreciative of that. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you all. You mean so much to me. I'm going to cry again. Oh, okay. I need to end this before I break down even further. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Connie. I'm signing off. See y'all next time.